So there's a question there online, and that is, can I tell you more, a little bit more about Dharma and maybe its practical daily applications? What is it? So when we explain any term, we have to go to the Sanskrit root, dra, that means the thing that holds, the thing that binds something together. You'll notice how important that is in terms of clothing. If things are woven nicely together, then you can walk around with confidence. But if there are a few loose threads, it's a bit difficult. So that is a kind of general term where we can use to examine what really brings harmony. And so we have to look at the various levels and dimensions of our life and our own being. First of all, we deem ourselves mostly to be physical beings. Never mind about the error, that's the fact of it. And so what puts us in harmony in our daily physical life? Well, naturally, we have to have food. In fact, the ancient people understood the science of getting food. What is the science of getting food? You have to have some dedicated people, because food is dependent on rainfall. Rainfall is dependent, in the minds of the ancient people, in those dedicated to mobilizing the forces of nature. We call it prayer. Prayer, ritual, offering, yajna, etc. You light a fire, you put some samgri in, some herbs, you put some mantras in, means intentions, and there's a science to mobilizing the whole of nature. You see, long ago, people must have wondered, all these forces of nature, what's making them move? Why does the wind blow? Why does the sun shine? What is the meaning of all of this? And so they understood some kind of force beyond them is doing this. And it's a glorifying, events worthy of glorification. It gives an inner uplift. That is why we spend a fortune going to forests and mountains. We remember in the Ramayana how Ram and Sita fearfully went into the forest. It was unknown territory, from the palace to the forest, a big jump. But soon they realized what a delight it was. The animals got used to them, they got used to the animals, and so on. And so things worked in harmony, in other words, Dharma. Now today, people pay a fortune to go into these unknown territories, into forests and mountains and all the rest of it, and have a good holiday. Why? Because in their normal waking life, they find things are disturbing. Things are fast-paced. Things are full of anxiety and stress. In fact, I'm told if you do a Google search on stress, it's one of the most Googled subjects that there is. People want peace of mind. People want stress relief. And that means people have to examine, what am I doing now that is causing me anxiety? Firstly, any anticipation of the future is giving me anxiety. What if? Imagine you're standing on a station, on a platform, and a train has just gone. There's no point in regretting. It's gone, it's gone. You can't put a lasso around it and haul it back, or put a telephone call, please stop that train. I was 2 minutes late, 3 minutes late. The train won't wait for you. Then there's no point in looking anxiously at the sign, when is the next train coming, and then inserting some what ifs. What if it has an accident on the way? What if it's late? What if it makes me late? What if it's crowded? All kinds of things are there, but there's no point in doing that. You know, I'm told the best way to make an elevator, a lift go faster is to watch the numbers. No, it's not true. Or you watch a kettle boiling, No, it won't go faster. And there's the old analogy, an old lady sitting on the bus, late for her appointment, grabbing on to the rails with her face distorted like a gargoyle, will not make the bus go faster, guaranteed. So all this anxiety is unnecessary, and yet we still involve ourselves in it. particularly because there are faster deadlines, fewer resources, and so people are under pressure, or seem to be. Then I often wonder, people who live in, let's say, Hawaii, where do they go on holiday? I don't know. It's an interesting question. So we need harmony in our life, physical harmony, and that harmony is created by our thinking, and the ancient people understood it. They understood that people require food, and then food requires a kind of mobilizing force. We can call it divine grace. Other people may call it thought. That means that there's a system of mobilizing all the forces of nature because there's only one mind, cosmic mind. That's all there is. Your mind is only a substation, like a transistor. Then that point of view solves a lot of problems. Where do I go after death? It's like asking, when the RTE broadcasts, then when my transistor breaks, where does the broadcast go? No, it remains. It continues broadcasting. So the divine grace is always broadcasted. But to catch it and mobilize it. Now, when we mobilize it, we're mobilizing all the forces of nature that it manifests. And the first movement of thought, characterized as the sound symbol Om, which we have just repeated. That mobilizes everything, all the forces, matter, energy, they all combined in subtle forces, 5 of them. They're called mere elements or subtle elements, tanmatras. And these eventually condense into the world, the waking world of you and me, and things and people and places and events, scenes. But there's only one manifesting entity. So that entity is both a material and efficient cause. It's not a separate thing. That means we have the opportunity to tune our thought into it everywhere we go. So that if I put some intention, some resolve, and some thought in, accompanied by ritualistic action, which gives an endorsement and underlining, then sooner or later, the cosmic DHL will deliver it to my doorstep. Don't complain about it. You ordered it. You can't send it back. So thought can either be in the realm of discord or the realm of harmony. It can either be dharma or adharma. And we have the capacity to transform discord into harmony. That's our talent. As humans, we can do it through the mobilizing power of thought or prayer, tuning in to this divine cosmic. And the higher we tune it in, the more subtly we do it, the finer the reward, the purer the reward, and the more revealing to us. That means that when we reform our habit level, then we also create a different kind of pulling power. Thought is a suction. It pulls things toward us. So we may as well pull harmony in by thinking all the noble thoughts. May noble thoughts come to us from all sides, says the Vedas. So we may as well, at every opportunity, do it. Now, why don't we? It's because we're preoccupied with all the other things. We're preoccupied with probably our job or our financial situation or our family problems, etc., etc. And as you get older, maybe you're preoccupied with this skeleton at the end of the tunnel called death. All of this. And so worry is there. Some people complain to me, what is your malady? Well, I worry about worrying. Well, don't worry. So this is the realm. Now, whatever thought we have condenses ultimately and immediately on the physical body, our immediate environment. So that you'll see every time we are anxious, our blood pressure may go up. Every time we are jealous, then some other malady comes. Every time we are angry, we might come out in a skin complaint. And there's a lady, Louise Hayes, many of you will know of her or have heard of her, and she has correlated every single emotional thought pattern with a disease, a malady of the human body. So naturally, if you want an antidote, you may as well think harmoniously, and that is a kind of dharma. Now, if you want a life that is full of harmony, you have to start early. This is at the educational stage. And so, as I mentioned probably before, the ancient people divided your lifespan of, let's say, 100 years into 4 compartments. First 25 years of your life is studentship, brahmacharya. And it is not just stuffing information into your head. It is character building. It is a preparation for good citizenship. So that the Taittiriya Upanishad will tell us in great detail instructions for departing students. Please carry on what you have learned. Don't stop. Even when you go on to the next phase of life, please continue so that dharma becomes a foundation block. And so dharma has come to mean morals and ethics and law and religion. But actually it means, again, a way of thinking and therefore a way of behaving which brings everything into harmony. In other words, which holds things and binds things together. Now we can clearly see it if we have an eye to see it. One practical recommendation. In the midst of your life, keep a kind of journal or a diary or a list and write down all the happy events, all the joyous moments, and particularly those joyous moments that you miss. The sun rose this morning. Did you witness it? Did you glory in it? Did you bathe in it? Did it fill you with a sense of awe and wonder and thankfulness? If not, then you missed an opportunity for harmony. You missed an opportunity for putting something positive into your permanent, your fixed deposit account, your unconscious fixed deposit account, called the habit level. It's the habit level which is the difficulty. All our unconscious or subconscious moments, memories, etc., these are all learnt. These all started off in the conscious mind. And then they, by repetition, got put into the habit level, so that in some cases, particularly in the physical cases, we don't even think about our actions. We call it instinct. Fly lands on your face, instinctively you put your hand up like this. You didn't have to sit and think about it. Your habit level did it. From this life, yes, but we say from also previous lives also. You can say, even if you go previous lives, then you may as well, if you believe in the biology and the story, the evolutionary story, you see that the habit level began with a single-celled organism and compounded experience more and more and more and more and more over billions of years until ultimately a cooperation of cells came together, organized by the community of cells called the brain. And we walk around not knowing any of this, not knowing some several trillion cells operating in the body, not knowing how quickly the neurons fire as soon as you see something, hear something, or as soon as you take in information, process it, and act on it. It's all happening in a few split seconds. What a wonderful thing. So if it is so that the whole of nature is working in a kind of rhythm, what is God? God is that factor which is enabling rhythm and harmony in the universe. In other words, Dharma. Now, who upsets Dharma? The humans. Nature doesn't do it. Nature is working in harmony. And harmony is not always what we interpret as good. There is birth, there is life, there's death, there's destruction, there's elation, there's glory, there's beauty, there's also ugliness, there's plus and there's minus, there's a duality everywhere. And our atomic structure is also like that. For every electron, there's there's a positron. For every plus, there's a minus. And this is because this is the way harmony works. You pull one way, another thing pulls the other way. So there's matter, there's antimatter. We can make it in a laboratory. We have no trace of it in the cosmos, but never mind. Even so, galaxies spin. They don't crash into each other unnecessarily. The sun shines. In our small suburb of our Milky Way, we are here in what they call Goldilocks conditions. Pristine conditions, imagine. And the earth spins and is angled well so that we get 4 seasons, then crops grow and food is given to us. And we have this amazing combination of chemicals, molecules actually, called water. Hydrogen by itself has not much value for us. Oxygen by itself has not much value for us. That is why our air is only 20-something% oxygen. So all we have is carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. This combined together is making this glorious body and mind. So there are all these opportunities to notice these things. And if you have a list and write down all the things that you're grateful for in a day, you, instead of saying, what a pity, you'll be saying, what a glory, what a glory. You'll be reminded of joyous instants. We were discussing with somebody at lunchtime. Some people say, when we discuss meditation, people close their eyes, and then they say, no. As soon as I do that, my mind wanders everywhere. I get up and get fed up. Why is it, Swami? Well, it's because in their waking life, they had no dharma. They had no harmony. Their thoughts were all over the place in a scattered condition. They had no concentration, and technology didn't particularly help them. You know how I make fun of people walking down the street doing thumb exercises. All their minds all over the place. Their attention scattered everywhere. And so that is why Patanjali in the Yoga Sutras, a whole treatise on the science of meditation, does not begin with meditation in his 8 steps. In his 8 limbs, Ashtanga, he doesn't start with meditation. Meditation comes out of 7, number 6. Why not start with meditation? If it's a treatise on meditation, you should start with meditation, isn't it? No, it requires preparation. In the weekend, we're about to do a meditation workshop. So I put a question to people. You want to do the meditation. Why? Oh, I want peace of mind. You're in the wrong place. Go and get peace of mind, and then you're ready to meditate. Now, this is not just common sense, but you'll find it all in the scriptures. That's why 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, deliberately they're on yoga of meditation. And there it doesn't start off with that. It starts off with the equivalent of this yam, niyam, and so on, the elements of dharma. This time meaning the law and all the laws that bring everything into harmony. You can say that in physics and cosmology, all the laws of the universe are laws of dharma. They're laws that keep everything in harmony. What a glory, what a glory. Then you see in the mental field, we have to establish this dharma, not just the physical field, through good diet, good thinking, removal of toxic material, as you know, I'm keen on that. Treating the body, revaluing it as a harmonious, cooperative city. Kota Upanishad tells us it's a city of 11 gates. 7 here in the head, the navel, organ of evacuation, generation, and then the royal entrance exit at the top of the head. All this, all in all, 11 gates. They're beautiful, beautiful analogy. So that is the body. It's something that we live in. So we should look after it and make sure it's harmonious. We should make sure that the mind is harmonious, that thoughts are harmonious. Not just harmonious, but elevated to the highest level. Because there is a train called time And every second is an opportunity to put some creative thing in there. That will manifest in the future. Manifest not only for the good of us, but the good of everybody. Now, it is not Dharma, that is, it doesn't bring everything into harmony. If I make a prayer, may I have this, may I have that. And I bring out the story I often tell, but I'm not shy to tell it a million times. You see, there's a farmer who had a drought in his land, so he wanted rainfall. So he prayed. I don't know, he sent a cosmic email, I suppose. They received it in heaven. Oh, this farmer wants rain. So, duly, they got all the cosmic storehouse of rain and put it on his land and made a flood, and his crops were ruined. Had he said, may we all get rain, it would have included him, and everybody would have been in a situation of benefit. The whole land would have been raised out of the drought situation. So, Dharma, keeping everything in harmony, not only at the basic student level, and that Dharma at the student level is a foundation for all our life. Last night, we were discussing causality. The subject was, is free will an illusion? And we came to certain conclusions. We discussed causality. Now there are people who may take drugs, or may take drink, or may be abusive. Chances are, statistically, that's what happened to them in childhood. In other words, that was the environment they were brought up in. It's a tough thing to get out of, but we all have the capacity to do it. So if children are brought up in a thoroughly moral way, how do we do that? We do it by example. If you want a little child to be useful, you say nothing. You take a broom and you start sweeping, and the 3, 4, 5-year-old will say, where's my broom? You give a little broom, and they also do it. You sit for prayer and meditation in the morning and evening, the child also wants to sit. You chant stotras and so on, and the child will also pick it up and want to do it. Don't force anything. You make them anti. But they will naturally want to imitate those that I admire. In other words, those who are 6 foot when we are 1 foot. So, in the ancient days, this first lesson, even today, will be the first 25 years of your life. First 12 years will be tuition at home. You'll learn the Dharma at home. And then from about, let's say, 11 or 12, you go into the equivalent, into a forest area. You go into the forest academy. And for the next, up to, let's say, 24, 25, you learn all the academic subjects, but primarily it's good citizenship, how to serve the teacher, how to serve the teacher's wife, etc. All of those things. And all of this moral basis. Knowing that good morality, good behavior, good practices, good ritual, a steady spiritual practice is the one thing that is the foundation for everything else. Once you have that, you have the foundation, and then all the stories you build up on the top of it, that will be safe. So what's the next one? Of course, the next one is Artha, the householder life in the next 25 years. And then, but you see, wealth is something that is a danger. Unless you have the foundation for Dharma first. Then wealth is good. And then after that, accomplishing all the legitimate desires that are left over, karma, and then ultimately moksha. You go on your way as a sadhu. That's the old style. And you may say, what happens if you don't make 100? Never mind. The next life will take care of where you left off. And so it goes on. So then in spiritual life then, this Dharma is there. It's there as an opportunity in every second by imitating nature. In other words, nature doesn't become anxious. I never saw an anxious flower. Nor did I encourage a flower to grow by taking it by the head and saying, today our goal is to grow 2 inches and yank it. That's the opposite of growth. Growth happens from within you. So we encourage an internal growth. And we do that by regular spiritual practice. We do that by following the instructions of a guru, if you have such a guru, a competent teacher, making sure that you meditate day and night. You can do japa, particularly the japa that includes the mantra given by a competent teacher, will be the most potent one you have. Following the scriptures, leading a good life, a life that is there for the welfare of all beings. Tuning it up, and, tuning up the practice. What is practice? Practice is the repetition of the highest values. It starts off with a yearning. But yearning is not an easy thing to attain. But we have it anyway, because people yearn for a house. People yearn to be a citizen of the country. People yearn for a good living. People yearn for security. So we're all doing it anyway. It's just to take all of that, consolidate it, and go to a foundation that has the capacity for supplying all of this unasked. If you want to get all the riches in the world, it's no good, appealing to the local authority. You have to make friends of the highest person in the land. If you're in England, be a friend of King Charles. So, like that. In other words, you go to the highest dispenser of abundance, namely the Lord of the universe, or Mother of the universe, or whatever agenda you like to give. Go to the source. And when we do that, then automatically this sense of harmony comes in. How do we know when we have cultivated this? You will feel harmonious. You'll feel calm. You'll be immune to what we call pairs of opposites: pain, pleasure, praise, blame. See how fragile we are. Somebody looks at us in a bad way, and we're ready to take our handkerchief out and weep for hours on end, and ultimately we're ready for suicide. What kind of thing is that? It's not anybody that made us unhappy. We ourselves did it. So we have this capacity to transform discord into harmony, and it is a game. And we should take it as a sport or a game. And if we take it as a sport, all fear is gone. A sense of adventure and joy is there. Some happiness is there. You can't get more positive than that. And the ultimate positivity for Vedanta is not glass half full, half empty, but glass is always full and overflowing. It's always within you. And that internal and eternal divine self is there. And it's there within you and within all. And that is why the primary practice is seeing the self, divine self, otherwise in devotee language called God. Seeing God in all beings, in all people, places, and events. Tuning the mind constantly into that. Doing what we call practicing the divine presence. And occupying your time with that. And when it goes off track, just as when a transistor goes off the station, the radio goes off the station, you tune it back in. Every time it goes off, you tune back in. Until you get a harmonious broadcast. That's called Dharma. Now, of course, from age to age, the cosmic balancing power comes in to re-establish Dharma. But that's a kind of cosmic Dharma that is taking place. Because from time to time, man tips the scale in the opposite direction. See, all the mythological stories that we have are all to do with people who are, on the good side and people on the bad side. The ancestor to Hinduism, Zoroastrianism, that's a key part of their outlook. There are these antagonistic forces pulling against each other. What do you call angels angels of light, angels of darkness, and that comes into the Judeo-Christian tradition. He came during the Babylonian exile. So these forces are there. Virtue and vice is always there. It's not that we should get rid of vice. Vice is only vice when we interpret it like that in nature. A crocodile doesn't know biting a leg is a bad thing. From his point of view, it's a thoroughly good thing. From your point of view, it's a leg useful for walking. From his point of view, it's his lunch. So we can't criticize the morality of the crocodile or an alligator. But at the human level, there are instinctive things that we know are morally good. There are things that we know we should always universally avoid. And apart from that, we can elevate the mind above that, above and beyond it, seeing the glory of that existence. And so we become the harbingers of harmony wherever we go. It's like a person who is perfumed and walks and leaves a fragrance behind. That's how we should go through life. Now it starts off with a self-examination. Am I that person that leaves other people elated and joyful, or leaves them in the shadow of depression? Because every time I meet them, I'll say, oh, what a pity, the economy, and this and that and the other, and the youth of today. You say that more and more as you get older, and so it goes on. And you become a grumpy being, and nobody wants to keep your company because you steeped your mind in criticism, self-criticism and criticism of others. And then at the end of your life, the Lord will say to you, what happened? Did you realize anything? No, I was too busy correcting things. I became a professional corrector. Well, that's why I give you lots of things to correct. So don't be a professional corrector. Everything is good as it is. See, Julian of Norwich, that great saint, Purna will know it. See, all is well and all is well and all manner of things are well. Something like that. There's a height of optimism completely. There's nothing wrong. You see, if you have a drama, if you play in a play, and we all get kind of entertainment watching films. We forget that the film is filmed in a studio, something like a warehouse, and lines had to be rehearsed. And we only see what's going on there, the kind of scenery and all the rest of it. We don't know that there's a director saying, that we should start the drama, or that we should cut it, So we forget all these things. We can easily be taken in by the drama in front of us. Well, we have to learn a penetrating vision. We do that by discernment. That means revaluing what we see in a better light, and by practice, constant practice. And the constant practice of that will be in any realm. For a devotee, it's constantly practicing to access the divine grace through prayer, through establishing an ever closer connection. For the jnana yogi, it is the practice of constant discernment and seeing this divine flow, this unity flowing through every hand, every arm, every head. For the karma yogi, it is to relinquish all the fruits of their activities. Practice that. Practice mindfulness now in this present moment. Skill in action, the Bhagavad Gita defines it. What is yoga? Yoga is equilibrium of mind and skill in action, efficiency. Why should we be efficient? Because the mind is concentrated on one unit activity. How many things do you have to do? Oh, about 20 things. No, only one thing. Then another thing. Then another thing. Mindfulness, please. And then in meditation, what is the practice? The practice is steadying the mind, steadying your attention, exploring the inner world of your own divine self. So in this way, we establish a harmonious life for ourselves and others. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, that was excellent, Swamiji. Can I just, so in essence then, or as part of that Dharma, could we use the word destiny as part of that, if that is such a thing? That there is, as our part of Dharma, as our part of the harmony of everything, that there is a certain role for us to play out, and could that be called destiny?
Yes, because then we have to talk about our particular role, which is called Swadharma. Because part of that harmony is naturally to conduct our life in the way that we are designed. So you see, we have one particular purpose in life, that is to realize our inner glory. But you see, how we do it, that will be an individual thing. And so, what is our spiritual life? If you're a military person, it's in the realm of military action. If you're an accountant, it's in the realm of accountancy. If you're a mother, it's in the realm of and the role of motherhood. If you're a student, it's to be a good student. So everyone has their place, there's no doubt. And so that is that particular aspect of the harmony, which is social harmony. You may call it social dharma. In fact, if you want to do somebody else's role, then it's not going to work. So how does it work out? It works out in individual design. I have two people in front of me. I'm going to ask them a question. Can you look at your hands? Do you have fingerprints? Or you have fingerprints?
Fingers, I have fingers, yeah.
You have fingerprints?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad. I was getting worried there. So we all have fingerprints. So what I tell children, and you know it already, I tell them, you see, those were never seen before you were born. They'll never be seen when you die. That's your mark of your individuality. And then I go further and say that's something you alone can do that nobody else can do. You alone can do it. You alone with your combination of skills and talents. But where does it come from? It's not yours. It's given to you. You have no part in it. It's a free gift. Here, my child, take this and do well. There's something that you can do that nobody else has ever done, or nobody else will do, and nobody else is doing now. Find it out. That is your Swadharma. In this way, you make a kind of social dharma, a social unity. Everything fits together like a jigsaw. That's what makes it harmonious. So I have to tell my standard joke that you've heard 100 times. So a man who comes from a rural area comes to see his friend in the city. What have you been up to? They start conversing. He says, well, I have this jigsaw puzzle, he says, and it took me only 12 months to put together. 12 months? How many pieces? 12 pieces. So that's not very impressive. I'm not really impressed by that. No, you don't understand. See, it only took me 12 months. No, you don't understand. It's only 12 pieces. No, you really don't understand. Look at the box. It says 2 to 4 years. So there it is. All right. So we are like jigsaw pieces fitting in precisely. And this is how the whole universe, but we are not excluded from the universe. We're part and parcel of it. You know, when we talk about nature, we think, oh, it's outside. It's mountains and trees and forests and all that. No, it's gardens and so on. You're part of this nature, by the way. Nature is an all-encompassing thing of the totality of our experience in the waking state, not to mention the adventures in a dream and that realm of peace called deep sleep. All right. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Thanks.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Thank you, Swamiji.